I'm not a Washington Democrat, okay? So when you say my party, I don't relate to any of this.
This is going to be like a CSI for politics. I'm going to show you the crime scene, which is the video of a politician talking. In this case, one of the greasiest one of all, Joe Manchin. Then I'm going to show you what they actually do. And we're going to piece together how they rob you blind. So let's start watching.
Do you sometimes worry about the direction of your party?
Well, I'm not a Washington Democrat, okay? So when you say my party, I don't relate to any of this.
So this one starts out nice and simple. Oh, golly gee shucks. I'm not a Washington Democrat. I mean, I don't know about Democrats at all. Okay, so the two reasons he does this is number one, oh, shucks, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not these Washington politics. I mean, I just got here. I don't know what's going on. I'm a simple country bumpkin from West Virginia. Okay, the reality is he's one of the most crooked politicians there is. He knows exactly what's going on. Wait till you find out how he robbed his own West Virginia residents blind to pay off his own company. He's unbelievable. So this idea of, golly gee willikers, I don't know anything about politics. I'm just an innocent guy here. That's one of you guys. No, he knows it too. That's the amazing thing about their acting jobs here. Now, the second part of it is he's a Democrat, but when he denounces Democrats, that gives Republicans even more fodder. And he's on Fox News doing this. So he's telling the Fox audience, you guys are so right for being Republican. Now, why would he do that? Because Republicans help corporations more. They help his donors more. They help his own company more. In fact, he's going to beat up on Democrats a little bit more here. But watch how he subtly does it.
The parties have gone so extreme, Brian, and somehow we've got to bring the grand old party, make it grand again, and make the Democrat Party responsible again. And
Did you catch that trick? An average Fox News viewer is never going to catch it. But he framed the Republican Party as the grand old party. And we have to make them just a little bit more grand. But they're already in fantastic shape based on that framing. But the Democrats, we've got to make them more responsible. Because you know how irresponsible Democrats are. Make sure you're voting Republican, says this Democratic senator from West Virginia. So again, the Republican Party helps corporations a lot more. But let's talk about one of Joe Manchin's corporations. So he owns EnerSystems. You know what they do? They do waste coal. That sounds great. It isn't. And coal ash, which is even worse. But does he help his own companies by having political position that he does as a United States Senator? Of course not. He's golly gee willikers. We just saw him a second ago. And he's got that all shucks attitude throughout the entire interview. Okay, so the reality is, in terms of waste coal, you know what Manchin did when he was governor of West Virginia? He changed the regulations to call it alternative energy. So it sounds like it's solar energy or renewable energy. That way, a lot more contracts were funneled in his company's direction. It makes no sense. Waste coal is actually one of the worst carbon producing forms of any fossil fuel. It's the worst of the worst, and he put it in a classification where it was considered the best kind of renewable energy, and his company made more money. Wow! Nobody could have seen that coming from, oh shucks, golly gee willikers feller, right? And then in a different instance, he allowed coal plants to charge higher prices just so they could keep his company in business. He once again changed the rules, but that time he made the residents of West Virginia pay more so that it could go to his company. Over just one 5-year period, they had to pay $117 million more so that this crooked son of a bitch can pretend that he's one of us. You know how much he's made personally from that company? Just in the last 10-year period, TYT reported on this, he made over $5 million himself. Meanwhile, back at home in West Virginia, because of his regulations to protect his company, it's not just that they're just generically paying over $100 million more. It's because compared to the rest of the country, their electric prices are sometimes 5 times as high. That's outrageous. And that is all because Joe Manchin wanted his company to make more, let alone coal ash, which of course turns out to be the most toxic thing there is. Again, in 1 year period for just one plant in West Virginia, it produced about 25,000 pounds of arsenic, 24,000 pounds of lead. This is some of the most dangerous things in the world. But when it was going to be categorized as a hazardous material, guess which senator jumped in to make sure that it was not classified that way and still endangered people? because he would make a buck from it. Well, you guessed it. Senator Golly G. Willikers from West Virginia. Well, I don't know about these Democrats or Republicans. And golly gee, I don't know, but the Republicans are grand. The Democrats are problematic because they're trying to regulate my industry. And they don't like it when I call waste coal renewable when it isn't, or alternative energy in that case. Oh, they don't like my coal ash poisoning the local community and the kids. Boo, Democrats. But remember, everybody, I'm a Democrat. You see how the game is played? But he's going to give you one more example here. Now, this is about Israel. Wait till you find out whether Joe Manchin is getting paid by AIPAC or not. It's going to come as a giant shock to you. But let's watch first.
It's just wrong for us to engage in there. We have allies who are with us 99% of the time. Do we agree all the time? No, but none of us do. But they have been proven allies. Whether it be Israel, now with Ukraine, whether it be our NATO allies in Europe, we're going to be there and defenders of freedom. And when they're barbarically attacked, we're going to defend them.
Defenders of freedom. That's a good one. Okay, defender of his own pocket. Of course. How much has AIPAC given Joe Manchin to say propaganda like that on air? $296,000. Believe it or not, that's actually not that high on the list of the different senators that get paid by AIPAC. But $296,000 is still a lot of money, and that'll buy you a lot of propaganda from Senator Golly G. Willikers. And they disagree with us 1% of the time. Again, the meddlesome Democrats, the pesky Democrats. And by the way, Joe Biden has asked them to stop using 2,000-pound bombs, which are outrageous in the middle of civilian cities. That's the only thing that Biden has tweaked Israel a tiny bit on, but not too much for Joe Manchin. He says, they were met with barbarism. Those Muslim barbaric savages, what they did to Israel. Now, by the way, October 7th was terrible and it was barbaric. But the 1% we disagree with Israel on is when they drop a 2,000-pound bomb on a residential building and burn hundreds of people alive, including babies and grandmothers and moms and dads. That's pretty barbaric too. In fact, Hamas was terrible, killed 1,200 people. Israel has killed 35,000, including 24,000 women and children. But hey, what does Joe Manchin care? He's producing arsenic and lead in West Virginia for an extra buck. If he doesn't care about the kids in West Virginia, you think he's going to care about the ones in Gaza? Especially when he's getting paid not to care? In fact, now, the final coup de grace here, Brian Kilmeade, setting up the propaganda, shows a bunch of progressives saying things like, the students who are protesting for peace seem like they're good people because they want peace. But that's all a setup, a softball for Joe Manchin to be able to tell everybody how awful progressives are, trying to look out for you or the average guy or for peace. How dare they? Go ahead, guys. Give us a little bit more theater.
The people making the most noise are making the most news. Listen to members of your party yesterday, this week. Listen.
It is incredibly disturbing, though, you all, that my colleagues are so quick to denounce the student protesters, but are silent about these young people, about why they are protesting.
From GWU to WashU and everywhere else, students have been violently beaten without provocation. They have been arrested and charged with disproportionate offenses.
Neither one of those things are true. They
So
firmly
wrong.
believe
So
that,
wrong,
but
Brian.
that's your party. Senator, where do you stand?
Well, you keep saying, please don't do that. It's just those are people that I don't think belong to any party.
Oh, golly gee, if you thought I wasn't a Democrat, you were totally right. If you thought I was a total fraud at actually helping the Republican Party and making sure that coal was deregulated, you're totally right. Wait, no, he didn't say that part. So instead, he's like, but progressives, they're the worst. They don't belong in any party. Why? Because progressives actually try to help people. They try to get to peace. I know defense contractors can't make more money. Oil companies can't make more money. All of his donors can't make more money. AIPAC doesn't get its way, etc. But these progressives who want peace for Americans and for all human beings so people don't die unnecessarily. Boo! Standing in the way of profits. Joe Manchin doesn't like it. I'm sorry, Senator Golly G. Willikers. Okay, well, golly gee, these people are awful. They're protesting Israel. Can you believe it? Later in the interview, he said that when he was growing up, there was Vietnam protests, which was perfectly fine. That's not what conservatives said back then. They said they were commies and the worst and traitors. Now he's pretending that he was in favor of the protests. But he says these protests, well, God, they are on the side of terrorists terrorists, and we should not allow any protest of Israel in America. Because remember, he was pretending to be a conservative kind of Democrat. So what do conservatives care a lot about? Freedom of speech. And you don't just give in to the government. You're allowed to protest the government. This is America, right? No, he's arguing that Americans should not be allowed to protest Israel, a different country. He's like, we got to shut them all down. So coal plants stay open, even if they cost West Virginia residents a lot more money. They stay open forever and ever as he milks you and milks you for his own bottom line. And on top of that, his top campaign contributors are from coal companies. So he's getting it from both sides, the campaign contributions and in his pocket through his coal company. And as long as AIPAC is funneling him $300,000, he doesn't mind who you kill in Gaza. That's just a 1% problem we have with them. No big deal. We're defenders of freedom, he says. As he says, now remember, shut down freedom for all the protesters because Israel's also paying me. I mean, technically it's AIPAC. And technically it's not a bribe. It's a campaign contribution. Now you see the theater and you see reality. That's American politics.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.